Just be really careful of these schools and avoid anyone that requires you to have sex with them for initiation. There's other ways to initiate people with energy other than having sex. Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my video talking about tantric schools that are like sex cults. So my first video, I did not go into much detail because I really don't like to slander schools, although it's not slander because it is true. So I'm going to go into a little more detail since Agama Yoga did open back up this last month, which is insane. That they called all of the women liars about their rape or sexual abuse stories, and then sent out the email to everyone and then reopened. So I think going places and being around beautiful tantric people is awesome. Like, that is a fun experience to do. However, with this place, you're spending less time with the other students and maybe more time being hit on by the instructors. So I just spent 1 month in Copenhagen. So I can't say for the people that have been there for over a year studying, although their experiences sound really horrific, and you can find at least 2 of those videos on YouTube. My month in Copenhagen, like I said in the first video, I only went 1 day to the school, even though I was staying literally right next door and I planned on attending there. I only went 1 day because I got really weird vibes, and thankfully I had gotten lucky where I bumped into someone that had just stopped teaching there, and he confirmed the thoughts I had about it, where the male instructors were all having sex with these students for sexual healing after class or after workshops, telling women that they could be healed from sexual abuse or rapes by having sex with these men, or that they could receive tantric energy. So like the main guru thinks he can give his energy to women by having sex with them, and that's the real way to learn Tantra. And while I think it's great for maybe the students to be practicing this stuff with each other, when the teachers are doing it and saying they can have penetrative sex with people to heal them, it is causing the opposite effect. It's actually making them more like victims afterwards, especially because most of the stories I hear, the women aren't even having orgasm or a pleasurable experience. So anyway, I met this male teacher, and we did end up dating on the island, if you could say that. This is when I dated men, and great experiences, definitely multi-orgasmic tantric experiences. He definitely knew what he was talking about, although like I said, he had already left the school because of how they were. And then I'd also been friends with someone who was just leaving the school, preparing to leave the school and move away himself because of the same problem. So these were 2 different male teachers that felt their other teachers and the main guy running it were using their hierarchy to abuse these women. And most of them did not practice what they preached. They weren't able to give these wonderful tantric experiences. So I think when you're in a position of power, you shouldn't be using it to get sex from people. It's always going to be bad. You shouldn't be having sex with your students, and that goes for yoga as well. Like, we're taught in yoga school, we shouldn't be having sex with our yoga students. In Tantra, it is the same. Even though there are less rules in Tantra, we still shouldn't be having sex with our students. So I'm not totally prudish in that. I don't think people should go to these schools and not learn about tantric sex and experience it. I just don't think the teachers should be predators where they're going each day, and you can look at them and see how they are looking at all the students like prey. And you can find many stories on this. You could go to the school, and I'm sure you will quickly see, if you look with your own eyes, not from people telling you it's a great school, look with your own eyes and you can see how they are. And I don't want to be learning even the Tantra yoga from people like that, because how authentic is that? And I did enjoy the yoga class I took. It was a good class. But there's plenty other Tantra yoga out there to learn, and there's even other Tantra in Thailand. There are great schools in Thailand to learn from. And even being a man going to the school, I wouldn't suggest it, because you're adding to this. You know, maybe go to the island and just be around the energy and the women and the full moon parties and the yoga that's all over and the raw vegan food and everything. Even me, like, having sexual experiences with someone that was a former teacher that had left still wasn't fully great, even though I was a Tantra teacher at the time. It's still something to think about, that yeah, all these teachers and former teachers are enjoying their experiences and having sex with as many women there as possible. And I didn't have the experience, but I have heard endless women talking about how the men will not use condoms because they believe they can't get STDs, or don't even believe in STDs. Or overall, I do think it's a sex cult, and that not all the teachers there are possibly bad, but they've been brainwashed into thinking that this is how you teach Tantra, and they're enjoying it so much they cannot step away. And there are other Agama schools around the world, and from the amount of times I've been approached online by these teachers, I have to assume that all the schools out there ran by this guy are like that. They are on the hunt for attractive women that they want to like hook up with. So please be cautious and know that there is real Tantra out there that is accessible, even with retreats. There are retreats that are safe for people to attend. Typically, if the school is being ran by a woman, you should be safer, but I can go into that another time. But just be really careful of these schools and avoid anyone that requires you to have sex with them for initiation. There's other ways to initiate people with energy other than having sex.